and how Krishna was dealing with the Pandavas. Sarathya, sometimes he accepted the post of becoming a chariot driver, and Parasada Sevana Sakhya Dautya. So sometimes he served them being like a menial servant, and sometimes actually he was Arjun's friend. Dautya means sometimes acted like a messenger. Virasana. So when the Pandavas they would go to sleep at night, Krishna by taking a sword in his hand, he would be guarding them. Sometimes he would sit in Virasana, Anugamam, Gamanam, Anugamana, Stabana, Pranaman. So in this way, in various way, Krishna, he served the Pandavas. This is what Maharaj Parikshit heard. Maharaj Parikshit heard that out of his causeless mercy, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, who is universally obeyed, rendered all kinds of service to the malleable sons of Pandu by accepting posts, ranging from chariot driver to president of messenger, friend, night watchman, etc. According to the will of the Pandavas, obeying them like a servant and offering obeisances like one younger in years. When he heard this, Maharaj Parikshit became overwhelmed with devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhaktim karoti nipatis charanara brinde. So when Maharaj Parikshit he heard the malleable dealing between the Pandavas and Krishna, that arose devotion in his heart, in fact, deep devotion. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the purport, the Pandavas were so malleable to the will of the Lord that they could sacrifice any amount of energy for the service of the Lord. And by such unalloyed determination, they could secure the Lord's mercy in any shape they desired. So this is how we can see when a devotee is ready to serve Lord in any situation, then Lord also becomes bound by such a devotee's love and affection. Now you may hear from me of what happened while Maharaj Parikshit was passing his days hearing of the good occupations of his forefathers and being absorbed in thought of them. So in that way, when Maharaj Parikshit was traveling in the country, he was meeting with different citizens and he was hearing the glories of the Pandavas. So at that time, what happens the next? Srila Sutta Goswami is saying, now let's hear. So very soon, he came to a spot where he saw a very wonderful thing. What is that? Dharma padai kena charan vichhayamu palabhyagam prichati smasru padanam vivatsa meva mataram. Dharma padai kena charan. He found Maharaj Parikshit, he saw Dharma in form of a bull was wandering with one leg. We know bull has 4 legs, but in this case, this bull had only one leg. This bull is nothing but Dharma. He was representing Dharma. And while he was wandering, Vichaya Mupalabhya Gam, he met with a cow, Gam. And how was that cow? Vichaya. The cow's face was covered with grief. And how did he see that? Pritchit Swasrubhadana Bivatsa Ribo Matara. She was looking like a cow who had lost her calf. And there was no luster in her body. She was looking very much sad. And so Dharma, in form of bull, he asked Mother Cow. The personality of religious principles, Dharma, was wondering about in the form of a bull, and he met the personality of earth in the form of a cow who appeared to grieve like a mother who had lost her child. She had tears in her eyes, and the beauty of her body was lost. Thus, Dharma questioned the earth as follows. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, when there is no protection given to Brahminical culture, cow protection, then you can expect different kind of calamities overtaking the civilization. Here, the bull who is representing Dharma, he actually produces food grain. And Mother Cow, she supplies the most nutritious food in form of milk. Canto 1, chapter 16, text number 18. Yes, correct. And so the Prabhupada is speaking that when the bull and cow are not given protection, then there will be definitely scarcity of food and different types of problems will creep in the society. That's how you can see the modern civilization. In modern civilization, there are some people who have taken cow flesh, the flesh of a bull, as their food. They're surviving by eating the cow flesh, which is a very, very pitiable condition. And as long as we don't take care of the cow and bull, there will be every possibility of deterioration of Brahminical culture. That's how the suffering will continue in the society. Now, when Dharma, Parikshit Maharaj saw Dharma in this condition, and he saw Dharma is asking to Dharani. Here, Gam, the cow, is representing the earth, Mother Earth. Mother Earth has assumed the form of a cow, and Dharma personality, religion personality, has assumed the form of a bull. Dharma vacha Kachid bhadre anamayam atmanaste vichayasi mrayate sanmukhena alakshaye bhavati antaradhin dure bandham sochasi kanchanambo. Dharma is asking Dharani, Mother Cow, is addressing Amba, my dear mother, oh mother. He is asking about the well-being of the cow. She is saying, Kati bhadre anamayam atmanaste. Actually, from outside, her body looked like there is no disease. But from the facial expression, vichayaste, vichayashi, means she was looking, her face was filled with grief. There's a reflection of grief manifesting from the face of the cow. That's how the bull is asking that Adhim, you must be having manopida. There must be suffering going on in your mind. We have sometimes seen people whose physical appearance looks like, okay, there is no disease in the body, but in their face, you can see they are not happy. There is a trace of dissatisfaction, grief in the face, facial expression. This means they are suffering from within, their mind is causing disturbance. So now he is asking Adhim. So Dharma, in the form of bull, asked, Madam, are you not hell and hurty? Why are you covered with the shadow of grief? It appears by your face that you have become black. Are you suffering from some internal disease? Or are you thinking of some relative who is away in a distant place? Dharma is calculating in himself, and he is questioning by thinking of the different possibilities how Mother Cow could be distressed. Maybe you are thinking of some relative, close relative who is away from you. What is the cause of you looking so sad? Then in text number 20, Dharma continues. In the next 5 verses, starting from text number 19 until 23, Dharma is asking the possibilities of Mother Cow being sad. Padai nyunam sochosi maikapada matmanamba brisalai bhakshamanam. He is saying that Padai nunam sojosi ekopadam atmanam. Bull is saying, because I am standing in one leg, seeing my condition, are you not happy? Maybe because of me losing 3 legs, you are sad. In this connection, Srila Sridhar Swami, he also comments, he says, Bull is speaking, there are people who are not following religious principles. Means, in the age of Kali, the 3 religious principles are diminished. As a result of which, Mother Cow is lamenting to see how the religious practices are being reduced in this Kali. So, Ekapada or Brishalai Bhakshamanam, or are you not happy because henceforward the unlawful meat eater will exploit you? Then, oh, Suradin, Hidrajagya Bhagan, are you lamenting? Because nowadays people don't perform Vedic sacrifices. Therefore, the demigods are bereft of the result of the sacrifice. Are you lamenting for the demigods? Praja, are you lamenting for the general populace? Swin Maghavati Avarshati. Because Indra had stopped giving rain. Why? There is no sacrifice. So are you lamenting for the general people? They are suffering due to famine and drought. So in this way, he is asking the different possibilities of Mother Cow being unhappy. Prabhupada is giving a very big purport. I think we should read this purport because it's a very, very important purport Prabhupada is speaking. With the progress of the age of Kali, 4 things particularly, namely the duration of life, mercy, the power of recollection, and moral or religious principles will gradually diminish. Since dharma or the principles of religion would be lost in the pro- proportion of 3 out of 4, the symbolic bull was standing on one leg only. When three-fourths of the population of the whole world become religious, the situation is converted into hell for the animals. In the age of Kali, godless civilizations will create so many so-called religious societies in which the personality of Godhead will be directly or indirectly defined. This is what we see in India actually. I can tell you, like recently when this BJP government came into power, they have taken a lot of strong decisions. In India, there are so many society who had formulated the trusts, and through this trust, the trust is formulated to do service for the mankind. But these people, in the name of trust, they were hiding their black money. And sometimes they were kind of swindling money from the foreign countries also. So this BJP government, as soon as they came into power, they, first of all, they seized all those trusts. Now it's very hard to get money to India from outside of India. There is a system in India how they can receive money. Then they need a very special bank account that's called FCRA, Foreign Regulation Act account. And now the government has seized many of such accounts. And everything is being controlled from the central Delhi. So this is you can see. And these people, in the name of God, they would open different society, different organizations, but they would not accept the laws of the God. They would defy the God. And thus, faithless societies of men will make the world uninhabitable for the sinner section of people. We can see, we can really feel this heat in our organization. When we go out to preach Krishna consciousness, we meet with different people who are actually rich people. They eat everything, they do all kinds of sinful activities. And when you meet these people, they really, make us very difficult. So this is what is happening. This is the influence of Kali. There are gradations of human beings in terms of proportionate faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The first class faithful men are the Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas. Then the Kshatriyas, then the Vaishyas, then the Sudras, then the Mlecchas, the Yavanas, and at last the Chandalas. The degradation of the human instinct begins from the Mlecchas and the Chandalas. Chandala state of life is the last word in human degradation. All the above terms mentioned in the Vedic literatures are never meant for any particular community or birth. They are different qualifications of human beings in general. Nowadays, actually, sometimes some people say, oh, he is born in a Chandala family. He is born in a Sudra family. Actually, their particular act determines which category they belong to. Nowadays, people are so degraded in their act. They are almost glided down to the position, qualification of a Chandala. There is no question of birthright or community. One can acquire the respective qualification by one's own efforts. And thus, the son of a Vaishnava can become a Mleccha, or the son of a Chandala can become more than a Brahmana, all in terms of their association and intimate relation with the Supreme Lord. This is why Srila Prabhupada has opened this International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He wanted to give an opportunity to people coming from different sections. We would say those who are coming from the different, degraded condition of life, that they can be elevated to the status of being the first-class person, a Vaishnava. Therefore, it is duty of every individual in ISKCON that should try to give Krishna consciousness to anyone they meet. Further, Prabhupada continues, the meat eaters are generally called mlechas, but all meat eaters are not mlechas. Those who accept meat in terms of scriptural injunctions are not mlechas, but those who accept meat without restriction are called mlechas. This is forbidden in the scriptures, and the bulls and cows are offered special protection by followers of the Vedas. But in this age of Kali, people will exploit the body of the bull and the cow as they like, and thus they will invite sufferings of various types. The people of this age will not perform any sacrifice. The mlecha population will care very little for performance of sacrifices, although performance of sacrifice is essential for persons who are materially engaged in sense enjoyment. In the Bhagavad Gita, performance of sacrifice is strongly recommended. VG 3:14-16. The living beings are created by the Creator Brahma, and just to maintain the created living being progressively towards the path back home, back to Godhead, the system of performing sacrifice is also created by him. The system is that living beings live on the produce of grains and vegetables, and by eating such foodstuff, they get vital power of the body in the shape of blood and semen. And from blood and semen, one living being is able to create other living beings. But the production of grains, grass, etc. becomes possible by rain, and this rain is made to shower properly by performance of recommended sacrifices. Such sacrifices are directed by the rites of the Vedas, namely Sam, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva. So you can see there is clear guideline given in the Vedic literature for the sustenance of the human being by coping up with the religious practices. Even though people are born with different impressions from their past life, even though people are very much into enjoyment, Shastra helps them. But unfortunately, in this age of Kali, people's consciousness has become so polluted, they are so degraded, they don't want to take the path of enjoyment in a bona fide way. Bona fide way means perform the sacrifice, recognize the position of God, and then enjoy. Even they don't want to do that. This is the situation. The materialistic men want to work hard and enjoy fleeting results for sense enjoyment. That's all. Nobody is willing to perform any sacrifice. Nobody is willing to perform any austerity. They don't want to take any vow. They just simply want to work, right? What is going on? Everybody, every day, from morning until evening, just go out and work. Why? For sense gratification, sense enjoyment. Thus, they are committing many types of sins at every step of life. Those, however, who are consciously engaged in the devotional service of the Lord are transcendental to all varieties of sin and virtue. Their activities are free from the contamination of the three modes of material nature, For the devotees, there is no need for performance of prescribed sacrifices because the very life of the devotee is a symbol of sacrifice. See, this is how you can see the difference between a person who is following Krishna consciousness and a person who is not following Krishna consciousness. Even if some people, they try to follow the Vedic rituals to remain a dharmic man, but still that is not enough. Therefore, Prabhupada is clearly saying that a man in Krishna consciousness is a symbol of sacrifice. Means the whole life he is engaged in serving Krishna. Whatever he does, whatever he eats, whatever he is thinking, everything is, all his activities are centered around Krishna for the pleasure of the Lord. He does everything. In that way, his very life is a sacrifice. So, therefore, you don't need to separately perform any other sacrifice that is recommended in the Vedic literature. So, therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement is helping the whole humanity to attain peace and prosperity just by learning how to do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the highest sacrifice. Then, in text number 21, he further asks Dharani, Mother Earth, Arakshmana stiya urvi balan sochasyatho purusadair ivartan vacham deving brahma kulit karma kukarmani abrahmane rajakule kulagryan arakshmana striya urvi balan. So, Dharma is saying, my dear mother, are you not happy? Because I see there are wives who are shelterless from their husband. This is the symptom of Kali. And not only that, saying Balan. The children are not given proper protection. Because children and ladies are not given proper protection, therefore you are unhappy. When I was reading this, I was remembering one incident. I just, 2 days back, I met one gentleman from UK. While talking, he said to me, Prabhu, nowadays many parents are withdrawing their children from the school. I said, why? He said, the teachers are giving medicine to the children in the school when they want the child to act according to their desire. Means, I said, what do you mean? He said, children are normally naughty, they're very energetic, they are, always active. And the teacher, he wants them to act in a particular way. Therefore, the teacher is trying to control the consciousness of a child by supplying medicine, by giving medicine to the child. I said, what are you saying? This is demoniac approach. He said, Prabhu, this is true. This is how children are getting spoiled in the school. He said, not only in UK, but also in US also. It's happening very rampant. Just imagine. People are sending their children to the school for becoming a better citizen. To upgrade their consciousness, they're sending them to the children to the school. But now the teachers has become the main cause of the destruction of the child's fate. They're spoiling the children. Can you imagine? This is the situation. And Mother Earth, in form of cow, she is lamenting to see how our children are rendered protectionless. Therefore, in our Krishna consciousness movement, it's very, very important for us to come together. Those who are qualified devotees in Krishna consciousness, they have been endowed with beautiful intelligence by God, they should all come together and make a plan, all around plan, how we can rescue our children from the influence of Kali. I was before also telling you, this reminds me about the importance of this Bhagavatam. So we are trying that actually. We want our devotees to become more serious about it. You see, by sending your child to a public school, you can't ensure the future of your child. The future of the child is getting dark. When they are in school, you don't know what kind of association they are getting there, what they are learning, what they are exposed to. Now, when I heard they are being given medicines to change their behavior, their consciousness, then I thought, oh, this is perfect. See, Mother Earth, she's concerned about us. Because the children are not given proper protection. Are you lamenting for them? Sochasto Purusade Ivartan Purusada, human eaters. That means he's saying, are you unhappy because the goddess of learning is being handled by Brahmanas addicted to acts against the principle of religion? Or are you sorry to see that the Brahmanas have taken shelter of administrative families that do not respect Brahminical culture? So you can see, this is the condition of the age of Kali. Especially, she is speaking about the Brahmanas. And also he's speaking about the administrative class of people. This Kali is influencing the administrators. If you take a statistics of the world, those who are in leadership position, big political leaders, you can see most of the corruptions are done by those leaders nowadays. Especially in India, I can tell you, recently there are a lot of many leaders were arrested because of anti-social corruption, anti-social activities they were involved in. So this is what is happening, and he's saying this. And these people, after they occupy a position in the government, they pass some laws, rules, and regulations, and then they also try to transgress these laws, or they hide themselves behind the law to be part of the corruption process. This is happening because of the greediness, lower. So, and another thing is saying here about the Brahmanas. Nowadays, Brahmanas are also, normally Brahmanas are intelligent people, and their intelligence is being spoiled. How? Please excuse me, but it's a truth. Sometimes we have seen some Brahmanas are occupying a very big position in some ministries, in some countries. I have seen in Middle East country, the Brahmanas are the counselor to the kings. In Middle East country, there are still kings are there. The kings are being counseled by our Indian Brahmins. They should not have taken that kind of position. And all these Brahmins today, they don't want to study Veda. Veda Patha is very difficult for them. But they want to study this material science, and they want to occupy big positions in the big companies. What is this? This is what is degraded position. Brahmanye, Brahmanye, Raja Kule, Kulagran. Prabhupada is writing in the purport, the Brahmanas are traditionally intelligent men, and thus they will be able to pick up modern education to the topmost rank. Many Brahmanas are there in the topmost rank. But as far as moral and religious principles are concerned, they shall be the most fallen. In material estimation, what is considered the highest in the society? If a Brahmana, he is elevating himself by his educational qualification in the material field of life, that is to be accepted that he is the most fallen. He is not high class Brahmana. He is not a high class man. This is according to the religious and moral codes. Okay? Education and bad character go ill together. They shall be in the most fallen. Education and bad character, okay. But such things will run parallel. The administrative heads as a class will condemn the tenets of Vedic wisdom and will prefer to conduct a so-called secular state. And the so-called educated Brahmanas will be purchased by such unscrupulous administrators. Nowadays, once somebody becomes a state administrator, first thing he would apply is how he can destroy this Brahminical culture. He is the first one to stand against Vedic rules and regulations. And there are some Brahmanas who are actually being their counsel, they are supporting them. This is very ridiculous. So by seeing this, Mother Earth in form of cow, she is lamenting, she is heavily lamenting the situation of this age of Kali. Kim khatra bandhun kalinopasistan rashtrani va tai rabaropitani itastato vasanapana snana vyavayon mukhajiva lokam. This is speaking about the naked nature of the age of Kali. Kim khatra bandhun kalinoposistan. This khatra bandhun, those who are in the position of administrator, but they are wretched administrators. They are giving position to Kali. Means Kali actually working through these administrators. And Rashtrani ba tai Ravaropitani. So these state affairs are handled by these agents of Kali. And itostato vasanapana vasa snana vyavayon mukha jiva lokam. If you see the culture, the state of consciousness of the people of this present age, then you can see this verse is speaking about the condition of the people of this age. Nowadays, people go, they live anywhere, they eat anything, they do anything. There is no restrictions. This is the sign of degradation of the human civilization. For humanity, how they eat, how they sleep, how they travel, what they eat, everything is given in scripture. But nowadays, people are so chaotic. They don't want to follow the scriptural injunctions. You go to any big cities, you find there are a lot of hotels and restaurants who are selling the food which cannot be eaten by a gentleman even. But people are so fascinated by your modern advancement and they feel this is real life. This is so sad because people don't read Bhagavatam, therefore they don't understand these things. The translation says, the so-called administrators are now bewildered by the influence of this age of Kali. And thus, they have put all state affairs into disorder. Are you now lamenting this disorder? Now, the general populace does not follow the rules and regulations for eating, sleeping, drinking, mating, etc. And they are inclined to perform such anywhere and everywhere, are you unhappy because of this? See, this particular statement, when I read, it reminds me about a particular situation in India, that here Bull is saying they have put all state affairs into disorder. For some time, this, one political party was prominent in India. I don't want to mention the name of the political party. They are not so influential nowadays. When they were in ruling position, they had given so much emphasis into the Muslims, and they just passed a lot of laws just to suppress the Hindu culture. If you come to India, you will find many Hindu temples were demolished by the Mughal Samrat. And on top of that demolished temple, they had built their mosque. And even if today you go to those places, you can still find the remnants of the temple. They have not totally demolished. They have now half demolished. Then on top, they have put a dome to make it look like a mosque. And our previous government had supported their so-called heinous act, and they had passed an worship act few years back. Worship act, a rule was passed in the government to support such kind of heinous activity. How can you destroy Krishna's temple and on top you can build a mosque and you say this is mosque, this is not temple? If you come to India today, you go to Mathura, you can still find that mosque is there, which was built on top of Krishna's birthplace temple. So this is what it is actually happening. This is what Dharma Bull is saying. Put state affairs into disorder. These political leaders, these administrators, they are the main culprit. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that one day a devotee will become the judge, High Court judge. Maybe we are waiting to see that. My dear devotees, be more qualified. Yeah, take up some position in that way, and then we can expect some justice for the devotees. Otherwise, there is no justice given to the devotees in this world today. Very sad, very, very much, insane thing happening in the world. Prabhupada is saying the so-called administrators are all untrained in the affairs of a Kshatriya. The Kshatriyas are meant for administration, as the Brahmanas are meant for knowledge and guidance. The word Kshatrabandhu refers to the so-called administrators or persons promoted to the post of the administrator without proper training by culture and tradition. This is what is happening today. A bunch of Gadha, they are voting in another big Gadha to occupy the position of an administrator. And what he is doing? Once he has become administrator, he is just simply trying to satisfy the sentiments of these bunch of ashes, and he is also trying to be happy by satisfying this bunch of ashes. This is the condition, present condition. Nowadays, they are promoted to such exalted posts by the votes of the people who are themselves fallen into the rules of regulations of life, rules and regulations of life, fallen in the rules and regulations of life. How can such people select a proper man when they are themselves fallen in the standard of life? Therefore, by the influence of the age of Kali, everywhere, politically, socially, and religiously, everything is topsy-turvy. And therefore, for the Sandman, it is all regrettable. You see, nowadays they are promoted to such exalted posts and votes. Okay, before that he's saying, Prabhupada is saying, the word Kshatriya Bandhu refers to so-called administrators or persons promoted to the post of the administrator without proper training by culture and tradition. It's a very important point. Therefore, in our ISKCON organization, we should also train our leaders with proper tradition and culture. Hardly people nowadays talk about the tradition and culture. That is the actually, you can say, the protector. Just few days back, I was listening to a news. I should share with you. Please don't mind. Some of you are from UK, I know in this group. But it's a fact. Devotees should know this. This road transport minister from India visited your prime minister, who is recently elected, and they were having discussion. And the UK prime minister, he asked, he said, "Your prime minister or president, right? I don't know what you say. Prime minister, yeah, prime minister." So he said, "So what are the challenges you are facing in India?" He said, "As usual, poverty, poor people. So people are not so educated. Same." Then our minister, he asked him, your prime minister, he said, "What are the challenges you are facing?" "Oh, we are facing the big challenge because nowadays nobody wants to get married. Everybody wants to just live with his partner. And it's causing a lot of social destruction. A lot of disturbances are being created because of such kind of living style permanent in the society." Then your prime minister asked our man, our minister, he said, "Well, your country is so poor, people are not educated. How come such kind of problems are not there?" Then our minister said, "Because our country is full of culture. Even if somebody born in a very poor family, they know what is their culture. That's why their mind is clean. They can think clean. Such kind of bad habits are not very much prominent in India today. Even though there are in some places happening, but not like other places." So this is how you can see, actually, when people are trained in the Vedic culture and traditions, then you can expect good thing from such a society. You can expect peace and prosperity in such a society. When people forget about following the tradition and culture, that is where the downfall starts. This is what we can see the consequences very prominent in the world today. Then next he says, "O Mother Earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari incarnated himself as Lord Sri Krishna just to unload your heavy burden. All his activities here are transcendental and they cement the path of liberation. You are now bereft of his presence. You are probably now thinking of those activities and feeling sorry in their absence." Finally, Bull is saying, when you were heavily tormented by the uncivilized kings, unscrupulous kings, he, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, incarnated to remove your burden. Now, when he was there on the earth, he performed many different pastimes, and you were very joyful and happy, because here it is said that people who are inclined to attain impersonal liberation, for them, when they hear or they see the pastime of the Lord, they forget about the attainment of liberation. Such is the qualities, the glories of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So because you are bereft of such pastimes and activities of the Lord, are you lamenting? The activities of the Lord include liberation, but they are more relishable than the pleasure driven from nirvana or liberation. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Vishnu and Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, the word used here is nirvana vilambitani, that which minimizes the value of liberation. That means Those who are walking on the path of impersonalism, inclined to attain nirvana mukti, moksha, if they get the opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then they will develop taste, they will get better relish, they will get better happiness, and they will give up the idea for becoming one with the Supreme Lord. Therefore, this Bhagavatam study should be universal. Everybody should know and study Srimad Bhagavatam. Then finally, he's saying, Mother, you are the reservoir of all riches. Please inform me of the root cause of your tribulations, by which you have been reduced to such a weak state. I think that the powerful influence of time, which conquers the most powerful, might have forcibly taken away all your fortune, which was adored even by the demigods. Purport. By the grace of the Lord, each and every planet is created fully equipped. So, not only is this earth fully equipped with all the riches for the maintenance of its inhabitants, but also when the Lord descends on the earth, the whole earth becomes so enriched with all kinds of opulences that even the denizens of heaven worship it with all affection. But by the will of the Lord, the whole earth can at once be changed. He can do and undo a thing by his sweet will. Therefore, no one should consider himself to be self-sufficient or independent of the Lord. People don't realize this fact. Their happiness, their riches, their so-called independence, everything is dependent on the Lord. If they don't realize this, then one day they have to suffer. So here, Dharma is speaking Mother Earth because you are bereft of the association of the Lord. Therefore, you are lamenting. So in this way, Dharma asked Dharani. Now from text number 25, Dharani, Mother Cow, is going to start responding to what have been asked by Dharma. Thank you very much. Here we conclude our discussion for today. If you have any question or comment, we can spend some time. Yes, Sadhu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much for the class. As always, we were having some sort of a drought for 2 weeks when we didn't have you, but it was okay. You also had to take care of something else. So I personally and truly appreciate the way you teach because from my understanding, you're speaking from the scriptures and at the same time helping us to live the scriptures in our present day. And I find that to be so helpful. Unfortunately, lots of our leadership don't seem to speak to us in that manner because, like you rightly quoted Srila Bhaktivinoda, that he said, someday a devotee will become a judge. If we have these leaders in society who are so dangerous, we all know how dangerous they are because they don't know any better. And the devotees who know better are discouraged to take such roles. Then how do we expect it to have anything different? And if we try to look into the future, because there is this prediction that Krishna consciousness Lord Chaitanya's movement is going to reign for 10,000 years. So that means that there will be many devotees at some point. And if all devotees are discouraged to take administrative positions in society, then what are we doing? So I don't know if there is a way we can help sit with our leaders so they can also encourage us to take on such positions, no matter how dangerous.
Prabhu, good, nice thing you're saying. In this connection, I would just tell you one thing. This journey which I have started, this Bhagavatam program, I have very big vision behind this. I'm not looking forward to this like one or two people. If our children, they can take up the study of Srimad Bhagavatam from young age, I can guarantee you, Prabhu, you will see wherever they go, they will be a leader and they will be able to give protection not to themselves but to people who are going to come in their life. Bhagavatam is the shelter. I am telling you, Prabhu, believe me, take my word. What did Prabhupada bring to the West? When he went to the West, he came only with Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, not I am going, I am bringing Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is bringing, I am going with Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is going himself. I am going with him. And you can see only one man, he brought Bhagavatam to the Western country. And from the day one, when he arrived in New York City, he was speaking the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether people were capable of understanding his Sanskrit or not, that's a separate thing altogether. But that strong preaching, his faithful preaching, you can see the result today. So therefore, I would recommend, I would suggest, please, those who are coming to this class, try to understand the importance of this Srimad Bhagavatam knowledge, and you yourself take it up. Let us ourselves form a team. Prabhu, for example, today we had 13, 14 people came. Okay. What I see in this participant, I am not very much interested, like you have seen my mood. People, even sometimes I am very much not hopeful of so-called devotees. In the name of devotee, you just come and don't be serious in your Krishna conscious practice. Prove yourself. You first be serious, and then see if you can influence one or two more. In this way, you can see you can multiply the team, the group, and they're going to become the leader. One who knows Bhagavatam principles, he knows the tradition, he knows the culture, he will bring the change in the society. I would say, let us in this small group also, we qualify ourselves, we learn things properly, and people, whoever we meet in our life, let us try to give them the good thoughts. That's it. You can change the leadership. You can think, you can change. I can tell you, unless person from within, he is willing to embrace Srimad Bhagavatam, you cannot change him. You cannot bring any change in his consciousness, I guarantee you. This is very clear. Everybody should read Bhagavatam very seriously. Studying means scrutinizing study. They should understand the inner principles clearly. Then only it will help them. Otherwise, so-called study is not going to help, not going to change their consciousness. What is the use of study of so-called, what is the use of being a so-called student? Bhagavatam knowledge is supreme. That's all. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I love it. Thank you so much.
I hope you all kind of help me to be part of the Bhagavatam team and see how we can push it forward. It's very, very essential, I can tell you. It's very essential. Children are our future. If we can give protection to children by giving them Krishna from their young age, life is successful. Society is already restored in that way. What is society? Society is nothing but our future generation. If you are making a plan to secure the life of your future upcoming generations, then you are actually protecting the society. By no other means, no other way, by so-called materialistic advancement or by training your so-called big leaders, those who are developed consciousness people, you cannot bring a change, I can tell you. Only change can be brought in the world's face by training your young children. And especially nowadays, children are very smart. They are not like us. When I was a child, I was not so as smart as today's child. So now this is a gift given to us by Krishna. Children are becoming more smart. Let us inject this smart Bhagavatam knowledge into the smart young brain from a young age. Then you will see there will be big change in the world's face. I don't know how many of you have understood this. I am fully convinced about it. Cyrus Prabhu?
Thank you for a wonderful class. And yes, as Sadhu Prabhu said, we've missed you very much. And we'll certainly try to assist in Bal Bhagavatam. I have a somewhat silly question, so forgive me if it is silly. We read that up until Parikshit Maharaj's reign,
what you said, Parikshit Maharaj's?
During Parikshit Maharaj's reign, there was no influence of any Kali Yuga influence up until the end of his reign. Until he meets with Kali and then gives him resting places. But here we read, before that's happened, he's talking in descriptive terms about what has already happened or happening, where irreligious activities and lack of religious principles have already come into place, and he is describing that to the cow. Is this why you are unhappy? So does that mean that the influence of Kali had already arrived within his reign before he approaches Kali, or
Yeah. He was already there.
Okay, because we read that during his reign, he was not allowing any. There was no such.
No, Kali was already there, but he was not able to exert his influence. But as Kali Yuga progresses, see, he is becoming more and more powerful. He is becoming more strong because he is being supported by his agents.
So prior to him meeting with Parikshit Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj giving him the benediction of where he can rest or sit, he had already started the influence within the reign.
He was already there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much. So there's only one more day remaining for Damodar month. Tomorrow is Purnima in India. I don't know what is going to happen in your place. If you are also ending your Damodar program today and tomorrow, please take advantage of this auspicious month for a lamb to Damodar and pray to him. May Damodar inspire all of us so that we can do some service for his pleasure and Guru's pleasure. Kunal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much, and it's good to see you again after you're back from your travels. But I was just reflecting on something that we read several weeks ago regarding this whole episode where it was said a few chapters earlier that when this Ashwatthama, he did all of the well, although he did like bad things, he was spared, and then he was not killed. So I think there it was mentioned that there is nowhere in the injunction that a person who is a culprit should be killed. Whereas if I remember correctly, the Manu Samhita says specifically, and it is in several few purports within the Bhagavatam. I don't exactly remember the references, but that Manu Samhita says that if we want to save a culprit from getting really bad reaction, then they should be killed. So how do we really reconcile this?
Okay.
Bhagavatam is saying that there is no scriptural injunction to kill, and Manu Samhita is saying that they should be killed. So what is the,
So
how should we understand this?
the verse is speaking, Brahma Bandhu Nahantabhyo Atatai Badharhana. Krishna, sometimes he acts in a very, mysterious way. He is saying, this is what I have directed in the Shastra, that a Brahman Bandhu, a wretched son of a Brahmana, should not be killed. Whereas Atatai Badharana, an aggressor should be killed. So now the question comes, if simultaneously one is a Brahma Bandhu and Atatai, so what should they do to him? So this is what is happening to Ashwathama. Ashwathama was an unqualified son of a Brahman. At the same time, he became an Atatai. So that means Krishna is saying, in one way he should be killed, then the other way he is saying, no, he should be protected. So these injunctions are there in Shastra, and Krishna is testing Arjun's knowledge of Bhagavad Gita there actually. He is thinking, well, Arjuna, and now I am going to check how well you have received the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. That means in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has already mentioned about what is the treatment, what kind of treatment can be given to a person who is an unqualified Brahmana, at the same time he is an aggressor. Desha sambhavitasya chakirti maranad atirichyata, Bhagavad Gita says. Means dishonor is worse than death for a respectable person. So that means by cutting hair, taking out the gems from his head and driving him out of the camp was the punishment for a respectable man like Ashwathama. Draupadi was saying, no, he is standing before you and he is representing your Guru Maharaj, Dronacharya. How can you kill your Guru? That much respect Draupadi was showing him. Now, when Arjuna, he humiliated him, he dishonored him by cutting his hair and taking out the jewels from his head and driving him out of the camp. That is how he actually killed him, but Nanya Bodhasti Dahika. But he was physically, he was not killed. So, for such kind of situations, you need to consult your spiritual master. The spiritual master can tell you when there are some contradictions, how to deal with the contradictions. Shastra recommends all solution for the contradictions also. So in this section, I gave you reference from Bhagavatam, and also I gave you reference from Bhagavad Gita, how Arjuna dealt with it, because he had studied Bhagavad Gita properly from Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. And the last few minutes.
That's why we are speaking, giving more stress into tradition and culture, right?
Right.
No more question. I'm sorry, today I'm getting late. I have some other thing to do. I'll just stop our discussion here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.